According to the graffiti on the bathroom wall in this very building, T4T sex is liberatory trans praxis. Hey everyone! I have another unscripted video for you today. The thing that's been on my mind recently has been dating mostly, because I've been dating a lot, like mostly on Tinder, a little bit of like meeting people at parties and stuff, but I've been dating a lot, so that has occupied a lot of my brain, and specifically something that I've really been ruminating on is T4T dating, just like the concept of T4T in general, and also like cis and trans like desire and love and like dating and like the differences between like dating T4T and dating a cis person as a trans person. And just earlier this morning I actually read a really good article on that very topic about like cis trans desire and love, which I will link in the description to this video as further reading. But so basically I have kind of come to, it's not quite a sudden realization because I've known this for a while, but like I have noticed that I don't really like T4T dating, which is hard for me to say because like I haven't even really engaged with it, but it just honestly like intimidates me, and I find that a little bit surprising within myself because lots of trans people, like specifically like trans lesbians, only date T4T like exclusively, and they like sing the praises of it, and I get what's so good about it. I get that it's like a very beautiful thing, and that there's like a lot of understanding between trans people when they are intimate with each other that doesn't necessarily come for granted when you date cis people as a trans person. But I am just uncomfortable with it for a few very personal reasons, which I would like to just kind of discuss in this video and see if maybe anybody can relate to it. So yeah, let's just get into that. Basically, my general issue with T4T, I think, is like a sort of like a mutual dysphoria. I really feel like I'm intimidated by other trans people because I feel like being intimate with a trans person is like somewhat triggering of my dysphoria, like in that the things that I am dysphoric about, like about myself, like facial hair or voice or like body shape, things like that, if I see that in another person, then like, I mean, okay, let me add a little interjection here. All of this is very problematic and like basically just based on internalized transphobia, and so I feel really bad to like even point this stuff out because I don't want to like further like notions of like trans misogyny or whatever, but I just have to be like real with myself that like this is like a part of like internalized transphobia that like I experience, and it is like a part of my dysphoria. So yeah, like if there are characteristics about other people, like specifically other trans people, that I have within myself that I feel dysphoric about within myself, and if I like am intimate with like another person, specifically another trans person that has those characteristics, that like triggers my own dysphoria about those things within myself, and it's honestly like it kind of makes me feel like something that I read in this article this morning was that like sometimes people who have experienced what I'm describing about feeling like extra dysphoria when T4T dating feel like it's like gay in the wrong way. And again, this like feels like really messed up to like be like kind of tacitly misgendering other trans feminine people, but it's like I don't want to feel like a gay man dating other gay men, and I feel so bad even saying that. Like I don't view other trans femme people as like gay men. I don't view myself as a gay man, but it's just like I just wish, I mean, this is like just what it's like to be trans, but like I just wish that I could like magically like control every facet about my body and like my appearance and all of those characteristics and make them like perfectly conform to like certain ideas I have in my head about like how I want to be feminine, and I want my partners to also conform to those feminine characteristics that I find desirable both for myself and for an intimate partner. And if somebody else doesn't have it, if somebody else doesn't have those like feminine characteristics, or if they have like masculine characteristics, which I find to be upsetting within myself, that is a big distraction. And I get there are a lot of positives that like outweigh that, like the understanding like of transness that like all trans people will have, and like the like limited need to like explain things to people that there's like a need to explain things about transness to cis people that like other trans people just won't need explaining, obviously. And it's like very beautiful in a way to like reclaim like our sexuality as like trans feminine people, and like take it away from like chasers and like transphobic media and stuff, and define it for ourselves. And there's this like thing literally scrawled in the bathroom of this building that like on the stall it says, I'll put a picture of this in the editing, T4T sex is a trans liberatory practice, which is true. Like trans people like dating and being intimate with other trans people is like a radical act of autonomy and like defining our sexuality on our own terms. Like I'm a woman who is attracted to other women. I'm a woman who is attracted to other women, and I'm very confident in that fact, and I'm very confident that other trans people are women, and it doesn't rely on like cis people to like see us as the gender that we say that we are. Like it doesn't rely on cis people to like validate us as women. For us, like for me and like another hypothetical trans woman, to see each other as women and be attracted to each other as women and be intimate with each other as queer women. And so that's like very beautiful and like radically accepting in a way. And of course I also find other trans feminine people beautiful. Like I think I'm beautiful. I think transness is beautiful. Like there are so many trans people that I know online and in real life that are some of like the most beautiful people that I've ever met, that I've ever seen. But even with those people, it's like I'm still like afraid of like these like little characteristics that are just inherent to being trans that like trigger my own dysphoria and my own internalized transphobia and transmisogyny, even though like rationally I can like look past them and like don't even see them as like inherently flawed. It's just like a part of like being a person with like certain like genetic and hormonal backgrounds, but it's just dysphoria. It's irrational. Like there's no way to explain it. Like it just manifests in like dumb ways. And all of that culminates in me not like being interested in like dating or being interested in trans people. And I've had opportunities, like I match with trans people on Tinder, and like I know trans people in real life that have been interested in me, and not even that I haven't been interested in them, it's just that I can't bring myself to like take that step with trans people because my dysphoria is just paralyzing. And so I have like exclusively like been dating and hooking up with cis women, and it's like on one hand I'm not gonna like devalue it. I mean, my girlfriend is cis, and like there's literally nothing wrong with doing that either. In fact, I think that it's great that like the demographic of the area that I live in is like got so many like queer cis women who are like so accepting of like transness and like willing to like just be normal like around like queer trans women like myself. And like I can, and I'm sure this is like like passing privilege and like white privilege, and like just like I said, like the demographic of the area that I live in. But like I honestly like never feel like cis women are like fetishizing me, or like that I am seen as like a threat to them in any way. which is something that like the article that I was reading this morning was discussing, is that like a lot of trans women who date queer cis women feel like those things, like they're being fetishized, or that they feel like the other woman is like perceiving them as a threat. I never feel that. And I honestly like enjoy, like I'm having a lot of fun dating, and I enjoy like dating in like love and intimacy with other women, and they've all been cis women. There's like, I've had very limited experiences in intimacy with trans women. And so like I'm enjoying dating and I'm enjoying intimacy, and it happens to be with cis women. So I enjoy dating and intimacy with cis women, but I also like have like this thing in the back of my head that it's like, am I problematic for like not wanting to like date T4T or like engage in intimate like T4T intimacy? And I just like feel like a little bit like weirdly guilty about that. But I know that I shouldn't feel guilty about that, because honestly, even like cis-trans like dating and love and intimacy is very beautiful too. Like with my girlfriend, it's like we have like an amazingly healthy relationship, and like I feel like she understands me really well. Like even though she's not trans, like she understands my transness quite well, and is like very like like of course she's like accepting of it and like non-judgmental, and in fact she's an incredible ally. You know, like she mostly dates trans people too, and she's just like a great ally, and like I've never felt any kind of like weirdness between us, because like it's like a cis-trans like relationship between two people who are cis and trans. Like that's never been an issue, and I feel like affirmed as a woman by dating her. And I feel like that's like another part of this is I kind of feel like I'm seeking validation from cis women by dating them, and that sounds like really problematic. And in a way, like I think it is, and like I'm aware of it, and I'm like trying to check it. Like I don't think that I should really be like doing this in like an extreme way. Like I don't think that I should like look to like cis women for like validation that I'm like really a woman and that I'm like desirable as like a queer woman, and cis women have like the right to like gatekeep that for me. That's obviously really messed up, and I don't want to do that. But at the same time, like it has been really affirming for me that like queer cis women find me attractive and that they're willing to date me, and like that my girlfriend just treats me as like any other like queer woman, and like honestly like in intimacy with her and other like cis women that I've been with, it just feels like so validating that like that I'm just treated like a cis lesbian, or not like a cis lesbian, but just like any other lesbian, like any other queer woman. Like I experience love and intimacy in the way that queer women do, and it doesn't have anything to do with the fact that I'm trans. It has everything to do with the fact that I'm a queer woman, and it's probably just like the cis normativity in my head, but it's like I feel like dating cis women, queer cis women who have known that they're women their whole lives and haven't like had to discover that they're women, and that have like had like a long history of like experience with like being like a queer woman. Like people that have had that set of experiences finding me attractive and desirable and treating me the way I want to be treated in an intimate context is like, that's like the most affirming thing that I can imagine. Like sure, it's beautiful if like a transfem queer person like thinks that I'm like desirable, and like we have like a certain connection, and like we understand each other and find each other desirable. But ultimately I see that as like a queer, like a T4T queer connection, and it is like, it is sapphic, and it is like centered on the experiences of queer women, but it's like there's like this unremovable aspect that it's trans for trans love and intimacy, which isn't bad. And trans is just an adjective. It doesn't like we're still women, and it doesn't like negate that fact. But for cis women, who in many cases have had like a longer history of experience as queer women and are kind of like more settled into that role oftentimes than trans women are. It's very affirming to like to go to them and like assimilate into like the role and experience of a cis queer woman, like a person who has been a queer woman and has had experiences as a queer woman, and like due to cis normativity kind of like culturally defines like the basic set of experiences for like what it means to be a queer woman, and it's just very affirming for me to do that. I feel like I might be kind of talking in circles now. And I just feel like the main like two sides of this that just keep drawing me in either direction are like, this is cis normativity and internalized transphobia, and like it's just as valid to be with trans women and like see that as like a queer women's experience. But on the other hand, I do legitimately feel affirmed and validated and comfortable with queer cis women because of the things that I've described and how I see their experiences as more archetypically like a queer women's experience that I want to have for myself. Even though I know that's problematic, but I do genuinely feel affirmed by it, and also I feel very comfortable, and like it's like I am actually genuinely having like really positive experiences. I just don't want it to be colored by the cis normativity and transphobia that I'm experiencing. Yeah, okay, I think I'm gonna call this topic there. This is kind of a personal one. I mean, all my videos are personal, and I also didn't plan it out very much. I just kind of like talked off the cuff. So I hope you enjoyed it. I hope that like it wasn't too rambly. If you can, I'm actually like genuinely really curious to hear what other people think about this. So like please have a discussion in the comments below. I'm very curious what my audience thinks about this topic, and I would love to read your guys' experiences about it. So yeah, I'm gonna call it for like the main topic there. I'll also just like add like a little note for my subscribers and fans. So like I keep talking about like how, oh, I'm gonna like take the channel off this year, like I'm gonna like blow it up and like upload so many videos. And also like last year I was talking about, oh, I'm getting like burned out and like I want to like change the format of my videos. I have struggled with all of those things. Like I don't know how many of you that are watching this will have actually seen it, but I uploaded like my first proper video essay about Avatar: The Last Airbender, and it got like 1/10 of the views that like I normally get. So that was pretty disappointing. I have some ideas about how I can like work video essays better into like the YouTube algorithm and like sustain channel growth through them, because I do really think that I need to like switch up the format, and like this like kind of off the cuff talking at the camera format is a little bit limiting for me. My main idea that I like just came up with like a few minutes ago is that like I think that I would like to revisit some of my old video topics and like kind of remake them in like a scripted video essay style, and put like everything that I've learned so far up to this point in making videos to use, and like kind of just crank up the production style and really dig deeper into like these topics that I've been talking about with like a script and like some more like intentional thought pieces with like the video essay format. So that's what I'm thinking about working on next. Let me know if you have any thoughts about that. Maybe I'll continue to make like some of these off the cuff like unscripted videos. I mean, they're the easiest to make. Like I literally just stand here and talk at the camera. So yeah, that's just what I'm working through right now. I'd also love to make more like media analysis, like is this character trans or whatever, but that didn't get a very big response with the Avatar one, but maybe I'll try it again. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching, and hopefully I can continue to upload more if I feel inspired, and if like this new idea for like a format works well. Yeah, look forward to it. Please like, comment, and subscribe. You know, it like helps out with the algorithm. The likes and comments and engagement are really good. And if you're new here, hit subscribe to see more videos if you like me and hearing my thoughts on things. Alright, that's enough YouTube stuff. Bye everyone. Thank you.